Pita bread. Tastes really good, even more fun to say. I'm gonna show you how to make in this video. Let's get cooking. That was bad. Grab the bowl from your stand mixer and add 1 cup of flour, 2 1/4 teaspoons of active dried yeast, and 1 cup of room temperature water. If you have a thermometer, the ideal temp for this water is between 90 and 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Give that all a nice whisk and then let sit at room temperature for 20 minutes. So when those 20 minutes are up, you're going to add 1.5 tablespoons of olive oil, 2 teaspoons of kosher salt, and using your dough hook attachment, start mixing your mixing mix on the lowest setting. Slowly start adding 1 3/4 cup of flour. If you add the flour all at once, you're going to end up with clumps. And that rhymes. Also, if you see any flour sticking to the side of your bowl, don't be afraid to use a little spatula and push that bad boy down into there. Sometimes your dough might look like it won't come together. If that happens, pour a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of water in there, depending on how dry your dough is looking. We want to mix the dough for 10 minutes, and at the end, it should have a Play-Doh-like consistency. Move your dough onto a floured surface and shape it into a ball. Then lightly oil your mixing bowl, add the dough back to it, and be sure to roll it around so it gets a light coating of the oil. Cover the bowl with foil and let sit at room temperature for 2 hours. Now that your lighting has improved, lightly flour a surface and begin patting your dough down until it's 1 inch thick. Then, using your eyeballs, measure and cut out 8 pita squares. Grab a square and start shaping it into a ball by tucking the sides under each other. Be sure to get this part out of frame to keep your technique a secret. Repeat this process until you've made 8 balls of dough. It's okay if they're not all the same size, you'll just have to adjust the cooking time by a minute or 2. Then take a piece of lightly oiled plastic wrap, cover the dough, and let it sit for 30 minutes. Now we're going to start flattening out our dough balls into pita. The ideal thickness is 1/4 inch, but I'd recommend making some 1/3 or even 1/2 inch. Experimenting with the thickness is a great way to discover what types of pita you enjoy the most. After you've flattened out all of your dough, heat a lightly oiled skillet to medium-high, and by the time your skillet is ready to go, your dough should have been rested for 5 minutes. Now that your skillet is nice and hot, place a pita into your pan and let it cook for 2 to 3 minutes per side. Your cook time is going to depend on the thickness of your pita and the temperature of your skillet. What you're looking for are nice char marks on the bottom before flipping it. You might get really lucky and get a full pita pocket puff. If that happens, please don't miss the opportunity to poke the bubble. Also, sometimes your pita won't puff up all the way. That's totally fine. It'll still have a pocket when you cut it in the end. This puff in particular just came out so well. I just love looking at this. The perfect pita pocket. Anyways, once you have char marks on both sides, you're going to remove it from the pan, put on a plate, and let it cool. Repeat this process with the rest of the 7 pitas, and there you have it. Super simple, super tasty, way better than anything you'll find in a store. This is Evan from EvCooksFood, and I hope you guys stick around for another episode.